Welcome back to Aaron's Reading Room, and welcome back to another edition of My Category Journey, the 18th edition. And we have a special one. If you are on Twitter at all following anything Harlequin, this one has been anticipated for months. And it's finally here, and we're going to feature it now. It is The Shoe Diaries by Darby, and this is a debut novel, so we are so excited. You know, the editor of the entire special edition line was talking about this book specifically on the Categorically Romance podcast, so go check out that episode. I'll leave a link down below. So let's go ahead and get started. I read the prologue. We had actually a pretty long prologue here, and we have our two heroes. We have Reagan and Jake, or Ray and Jake. Jake doesn't have a nickname yet, but there's a lot of book left. So as prologues tend to be, this is in the past, so 2016, and it's a wedding where mutual friends of Jake and Reagan are there. Jake and Reagan were once a thing, but they haven't seen each other in a while, but the wedding vibes are just bringing back all those feelings, and I mean, you know what happens. Then there's fallout. I can't say from what, but it does not work out. Obviously, this is the prologue. Things were way too happy. We knew we were going to get our heart broken. We were bracing for it, but it still hurt like heck. We're not a big fan of Jake right now. Not a big fan of Jake at all. If I didn't know the reader promise was involved here, I think I might have it out for Jake. We're going to give him the book to realize and rectify his mistake. Ray, we're just gonna hope Ray is all right. So that is where we are in the prologue. So now I will go on to chapter 1, and I will see you there. Hello, everyone. I've finished chapter 2. It started out fun. Started out real fun. We're like starting out super fun. We're having a great time. It's going great. And then there's a slight dip. It gets kind of, it goes like this, but then it just goes off a cliff by the end of chapter 2. And, we're not in the best place. I mean, I should expect this because it's in the synopsis of the book, but doesn't mean it's any easier when we actually get here and have to experience it. So we prepare ourselves all we can for these things, but it's never enough in the actual moment. So our heart's with Ray right now, and right now the best thing we can do is just be there to support her going into chapter 3, and I will check in with you then. Hello everyone, I finished chapter 2. I got a little mixed up in the last segment because of that prologue, but finished chapter 2 now. This took place in a spin class, so thank you, Darby, for shaming me into getting onto my exercise equipment. I appreciate that. So first and foremost, a thank you to you. So chapter 2 was a chatty chapter between Rebecca, that's Ray's sister, and Ray, of course. And Ray's realizing that she's lived the straight and narrow. She hasn't really taken much chance other than just doing the things that everyone expects of you. It's like going to college, finding a good job, all of that stuff. So she's going to work up a risk list. And she's going to reward herself with a pair of shoes every time she completes an item on the risk list. Let me say something about lists. I am married to a lister. Lane can spend all day making all sorts of lists, or one list. It's rather impressive, and it gives them a lot of satisfaction. So if you're a lister, go out there, do your listing, and don't let anyone shame you for it. Whatever brings you joy and is not hurting anyone else, then you go at it. Rebecca, well, if you asked Ray, tried to poison the well of the moment by bringing up Jake, that jerk. We're not quite ready to talk to Jake yet, though. Jake would be the ultimate risk to go back a third time. Ray does not need to be burned right now, especially while her friend is dying and she's already at her emotional limit. We don't need any more negative emotion there. So I will now continue on to chapter 3 and let you know what comes of this risk list and whether Jake comes back or not. We know he is, but I'll see you then. Hello everyone, I finished chapter 4. Now, the last 2 chapters, we've just had a lot of Ray self-reflecting, a lot of what's going on with Christine, with her illness and struggling with being in the hospital and things like that is really making her analyze what's going on in her own life. And so we've got a lot of internal
internal dialogue going on there, as well as getting to know Christine and her family and getting to know the group as well. So this is 4 chapters in a prologue in a row that's just followed Ray's perspective. This book, as far as category goes, is extremely unique, at least as far as I'm still a newbie, at least as far as what I've read so far on the journey, as well as what I've just read broadly. This has such a unique flow to it that I've never seen before, and it's really, really cool. And this isn't a dig at either side. One's not doing it worse or better than the other. It's just different, and it's a really cool thing to see. I think this is exactly what Susan Littman on the Categorically Romance podcast was talking about, the fresher take they're looking for in submissions these days. So it's definitely a fresh take, and I'm here for it. Like I said, this is a unique experience, and I'm on board, and we're just gonna keep trucking on and see where it takes us. So I will go on to chapter 5, and I will let you know where things go. Hello, everyone. I've finished chapter 5. We found ourselves in the midst of the risk list, or at least, I don't know if this one was on the list, but it definitely needed to happen. Reagan ran into someone from her past that she could have gone the rest of her life without seeing. Let's just say that. And this person was coming up to them like they're old buddies. Oh, that wasn't happening. Well, old Reagan would have handled it one way. New Reagan, risk list Reagan. Oh, you're gonna have to check this one out, folks. Beautiful. It was just wonderful. We also got a bit of Reagan's mother and some maternal advice in there, and always glad to know family. Always good to have those people that give our main characters direction when they need it. So I'm going to continue on to chapter 6, and I'll let you know how things go when I get back. Good morning, everyone. I finished chapter 6, so I will be starting part 2 when I continue. Chapter 6 was a bit of a celebration. After Reagan giving Matthew a piece of her mind, her girlfriends all got together to celebrate and talk about her moving forward. So not much to go over there, but definitely more cute moments between Reagan and her group of friends and just how tight-knit they are, and also highlighting again Reagan's love of shoes, because she's already looking for pairs to reward herself with, because she's really thrown herself out in the open. So she's going to be looking for a new job here. She's got a lot of steps to take and a lot of potential rewards that she can give herself, which are very much deserved. So I will go on to chapter 7 and part 2 and let you know how things go. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 7. Ray is going to begin her risk list. As well, I misspoke a bit in the section before. She's not quit her job, but she's going to, or she thought she was. Something changed in there. Now she has to reevaluate everything. Stuff's still up in the air. But girls' night, gonna be a great time. Enter Luke, though. This guy is so smooth. Oh, he's just on top of all of it. And you know what? Reagan's out for risk, so why not? Why not just go with it? I tell you though, alarm bells are going off. My head, Reagan's head, everyone's head that's reading this. Would hope so. But pushy friends, we all need them, but sometimes there's unintended consequences from these types of friends. But you know what? That's life, and that's romance. So what can you do? Well, here we are. So Luke's got Ray's number. Ray's going to take a chance, go for dinner. Fingers crossed that things don't go real bad. I have a sneaking suspicion. But that's just me. I'll go on to chapter 8, and I'll let you know how things go. Hello, everyone. I finished chapter 8. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Things are going well with this Luke character. My overprotective parent senses are tingling very hard here. And I don't want to believe what I think is coming. So I'm not going to. Darby wouldn't do us like that. I will go along for the ride, and I will see where this takes us, because what I think is going to happen isn't going to happen. I have some suspicions. I can't speak to them right now, and I'm not going to speak to them. I'm not going to speak this into the universe because it shouldn't be. I just know Reagan is a wonderful person and deserves the best in life, and so we are just going to go forward with love and hope in our hearts. On to chapter 9, and I will see you then. Ma'am, I finished chapter 9. Didn't Reagan come from your heart? From you molded her from the love in your heart and made her everything she is, and you did this to her? I knew something was happening there. I knew something was happening there, and I didn't want to believe it. A lot of writers will give advice that you need to be mean to your characters to make things interesting, and to a certain degree, sure, perhaps that is correct. It's my sole anecdotal, in this moment, very biased opinion. That doesn't have to have a place in every book, maybe. I mean, I'd like to think I'm not a complete fool. The name of part 2 could have given me some kind of clue on this here. So, you know what? Just call me naive. Right here, right now, I want to be naive. I want to be naive to think that Reagan has already suffered enough, and she deserves all the happiness that's coming to her. These kind of hurdles are just borderline cruel, and my heart broke. You're just going to give us the death by 1,000 cuts so far, where this book's just been rough so far. I'm over emotional right now. I'm going to step back, maybe go for a walk. It's below freezing outside, but maybe it'll do me good. I will check in after chapter 10, or whenever I decide I'm able to subject myself to some more torment that Darby wants to throw my way. Hello everyone, I finished chapter 10. So because there was a bit of a speed bump in the risk list, Ray's rethinking things, or she's retreating into safety. This may or may not be a good thing, but in chapter 10 it wasn't the best thing. So part of the risk list is the job situation. Take a promotion or go find something new that suits her better. I'll just say I don't think she's making the right choice here. I think she's putting herself over a barrel. And I mean, really, no one wants to be there. Yeah, unless that's your thing. So have at it. Luckily, Rebecca, Ray's sister, is nearby and witnessing all of this, and I'm hoping that she's going to have some words with sister and straighten some things out here and just find that happiness that's waiting for her. She just needs to reach out and take it. Interesting thing about this book, we are 50%, a little more than 50% through here. We've not had a perspective from Jake. This is much more in the vein of a, it's more in like a just women's fiction kind of vein, which I have read those and enjoy those. It's very interesting to see in Harlequin though. But obviously Harlequin's trying to do some new things, give some new spice to the lines. I'm liking it. It's tasting good. I like what Darby's cooking, so I'll check in on another chapter or so. Hello everyone, I finished chapter 11, and Ray did some course correcting, some proper course correcting. So cheers for that. Good for her. And her friends were there to keep her strong, keep her happy, just keep her vibing the way she needed to, and it was beautiful. We also got a little tease from that Jake character. He's starting to close in on the sides, so Reagan's not quite ready for that, but it's coming. It's coming soon. So I will check in after I eagerly go on to chapter 12. Hello everyone, I've finished chapter 12, and that was a rough chapter for several reasons. There's the Christine part. Jake finally surfaced, but that went about as well as you could expect. And we have 1,000 cracks in our heart right now because there is a hopelessness when you're witnessing someone close to you slowly die. It's rough. It's so rough. And, this book really, it just absolutely captures that. This book, it is such a roller coaster of emotion that the way this book has read and the structure of it, it is so unique and it's just hitting hard. I'm not sure if I can put it in any better words than that. So I'm going to continue on and I will check in after chapter 13.
Hello everyone, I am doing some cooking right now, so you get a kitchen video from me. I just finished chapter 14. This was a rough chapter. It started out well, but some things we knew were coming happened, and it was hard, just as hard as we expected it would be, and I'm once again just beside myself with this book. I can't harp on it enough. This book is nothing you have... let me correct myself because I'm still a noob. This is nothing I have ever read in Harlequin before. It's nothing I would ever think would appear in a special edition that I open up, or any line, really. And that's a good thing. It's such a new experience in the journey here. And let me tell you, Darby knows how to just pull at your heart. So we have 4 chapters left, and what's left to do in those 4 chapters seems immense. So I am going to continue on, and I will let you know how things pan out. Hello everyone, I finished chapter 17, so this is the second to last chapter of the book. 16 and 17 took place on a vacation that the whole girl group took after that, and they're trying to have fun, trying to really focus on each other. They want to remember their friend, but they also want to remember that they have each other there right now, and do more to make the most of the time you have with the people around you, because life's too short not to enjoy those that you love, not to enjoy the time that you have with those that you love. And it's also too short to waste time on those that, don't care for you. That's a whole separate video. You kind of follow more Ray, but really the whole group go through the grieving process, which is a very, very important process to go through. So Ray's mother in this book gives the best advice that I'd ever been given on grief as well, and that is to feel everything. Actually feel it and let it wash all over you, because if you try and bury it, it's just it comes out. It comes out whether you want it to or not, no matter how much you fight it. You might be able to pin it down to a small box in your heart somewhere for a while, but it comes out. And the more it stays in there, the more it hurts when it comes out. So anyway, soapbox moment there. Sorry about that. So now we're on to chapter 18, our very last chapter. And this is a romance book, so we're gonna have to hash it all out in this chapter. So this is going to be a doozy, I feel like. So I will check in with you all at the end of the book.
Hello everyone, I have finished the Shoe Diaries by Darby. This book blindsided me. If you're anywhere in the booksphere world of like social media and things like this, you saw this one getting talked about over and over and over on the lead up to it. And I did not expect to be so emotionally wrecked through most of this book. And it does in my own anecdotal definitions of what a romance book is, it fits all of the definitions, but it does it differently. It does it in more of a women's fiction point of view. We don't ever get a perspective from Jake because it's not Jake's story. It's Ray's story. And And that's fine. That's fine to have it one-sided. And it worked in this particular story because Regan was working through a lot of stuff, and you wouldn't have had the time for her to process that and actually work through it properly like Darby had her doing if we had had the second perspective of Jake in there. It would have been a distraction. I would like to thank Darby Bayham for creating such an incredible story like this. Thank you for submitting it to Harlequin, and thank you, Harlequin, for publishing it, even though it doesn't quite fit the mold. And I just want to say I appreciate it, and this was wonderful, and I hope we see more and more of this. And I am dying to read more of Darby Bayham. If this is her debut book, her star is going to shine so bright. And so that is where I will leave you here. Darby Bayham, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. This was such an enjoyable and incredible experience. And thank you so much for being there for me on Twitter. I really, yeah, you had my back in a few moments when I was feeling pretty low, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Harlequin Books, and thank you all of you who join in on my category journey. Remember, it is your journey as well, and I will see you in the next video.